Fatigue and recovery are both critical parts of the energy systems and probably the most difficult part to get your head around. Fatigue is basically when you get tired and you're unable to continue. Now sometimes that's a real thing. You run out of total exhaustion of fuel sources, such as running out of creatine phosphate for the ATP-PC system. But sometimes it's like the body's self-defense mechanism that just stops you, so it knows that you're tired and so as to stop you, but you can always sort of push on. And the example is that, you might be absolutely wrecked, but, if someone in the crowd gets behind, you can suddenly make an extra tackle or put a sprint into the finish. So that's the first part, this central and peripheral nervous system, that sometimes it's the brain stopping us before we're actually physically exhausted. Also, lack of oxygen can lead to the accumulation of lactic acid, which causes fatigue. Also, psychological factors such as that mental attitude and low motivation can bring on this fatigue a bit earlier sometimes if we're not motivated, and also things like extreme heat. Recovery is to go back to our pre-exercise state, and this varies particularly on the athlete and the intensity and the duration of the exercise that's been participated in. The most important part of this is that we actively recover. This reduces recovery time. It helps restore fuel supplies, replace lost food, fuel, and also help with muscle repair. The final part of this is EPOC, which is your excessive post-exercise oxygen production. Now, that'll be explained in the next slide. This diagram helps explain EPOC, which stands for excess post-exercise oxygen production. And the idea is that when we finish our exercising, so at this point here, we still continue to have an elevated amount of oxygen, and this slowly reduces back to our normal rest period. Okay, so that's this excessive oxygen consumption, and we'll know that when we've exercised and suddenly we've stopped, we don't just suddenly stop breathing. Our heart rate and our breathing are all still increased. And the concept is that the idea is that when we first start, we don't have enough oxygen, so we have this deficit, and then we sort of got to pay it back in a way, and that's this debt. Okay, and that how effectively and efficiently we can do this depends on how quickly we can recover. And again, that varies for each athlete.